Tina here. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm back again to share a project with you. We're making a slimline card. We're going to make a waterfall slimline card. And what makes it easy is the Photoplay Papers Maker Series Slimline. This is a regular slimline card that Photoplay has 3 of these in the package. So it makes it real easy to create. No guesswork. Photoplay does it for you. We're going to be using the Photoplay Papers Bros Amazing Collection. There's a Ephemera pack that goes with it. I don't know if I'll use this or not. Maybe a few pieces from here. And then I love the pattern papers. In fact, I created a card with the burgers. I'll link that video at the end. I made a shaker card with it if you want to check that out. And then I'm also going to be using the Blue Mist cardstock and the My Colors variety cardstock with the coordinating collection here. It's going to go perfectly with my waterfall. So to create the waterfall, it's very simple. Okay, let's make the waterfall. I mentioned there's enough in here to create 3 waterfalls. The waterfall is very easy. The directions to create it are on the inside of the packaging. There's easy step-by-steps 1 through 11 on how to create the waterfall. And we're going to go ahead and take our card base along with one of our mechanisms. This has score lines on it. You can see the score lines. We're going to take 1, 2, 3, 4 of these square pieces, and then we're going to take this piece. There's only 1 of these, and what it says to do in the directions is to trim this down into 1-inch strips. So you're going to take this piece and cut it into 3s. One will go for my card today. The other one will go for my other card project. So let's bring in the paper trimmer. 3 1-inch strips. Okay, and 2 will stay with the other card bases, and 1 will go with our card today. I'm going to put these back in the package. So these are the elements that we need for our slimline. Okay, I'm going to start by scoring my slimline card base. We're just going to score it right in half. And then what I'm also going to do is on this piece here, there are score lines. And I'm going to reinforce those score lines. So we're just going to bend the fibers of the papers. This is going to help with the mechanism that makes the waterfall card. Just fold back and forth. Okay, so these are, so this is done. Before we build our waterfall card, to do that, I'm using 2 pieces of pattern paper from our Bros Amazing Kit. I have the all-in stripe, and I also have the going places. This is what the reverse looks like. These squares here are 2x2s, and I trimmed out 4 of these pattern papers. And these are going to be slightly smaller than the front of these squares. So we're basically going to use these squares as matting. These measure 1 3/4 inches by 1 3/4 inches. Okay, I'm going to actually mat this, not on these, but on some of the blue cardstock that's in our My Colors cardstock. I'm going to use the Blue Mist. Okay, so I took the Blue Mist cardstock. This is actually a card front panel. This is going to go directly on the front of my card base. We can go ahead and adhere that right now. I'm going to use, I'm going to use my glue. We'll just adhere this right to the front. So now the front of our card base is that real pretty blue. And then I created 4 2-inch panels that we're going to layer directly over these squares. And I'm just going to use my glue for that also. Now you don't have to add the blue to the white, but I wanted the white to be behind it. So that's why I'm gluing these together. But if you want blue on the back side, you don't have to add the white. You can actually save this for another project. Okay, so after we have this done, I'm going to go ahead and layer this pattern paper and mat it on the blue. So basically what we're doing is prepping our waterfall with our pattern paper. I like to do this first. Okay, and then we have this strip that we trim down. I'm actually going to add some glue behind some more of our blue cardstock, and we're going to add this right over the top. And again, you don't have to do this, but I think just extra reinforcement doesn't hurt, and it's perfectly measured. Okay, I also trimmed down these two pieces of the same blue cardstock. These measure 2 inches wide by 1 1/4 inches tall. What I'm going to do is end up putting this at the very bottom of my waterfall. Now I have our arrow pattern paper. I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to the front of my card base. We're just going to center this. It's basically going to frame in our pattern paper. We'll just tack this down. Now we need to figure out our placement. Since this is reinforced, what we're going to do is fold it in half. With the score lines on top, we're going to fold it to the very top score line. So this is the first score line here. We're just going to fold that over. And then you can see that there's a little bit of paper down here overhanging. What I'm going to do is take some glue. I'm going to add some glue here. And then using this 2-inch strip, I'm going to add it to the very bottom on this side. This is going to be where we're going to pull. You can completely skip this step, but this part here is where you're going to pull it, the card up and down. And I just wanted some extra strength to this. So I'm going to add some more glue on the back side. And I'm basically sandwiching this long piece in between the two. You can see here, we're just sandwiching it. This is just going to give me extra reinforcement. Since we have arrows on here, I thought we would make an arrow with our pull. So let's go ahead and bring in our paper trimmer. And I'm going to mark the 1-inch mark here with my pencil. Okay, and then I'm going to put it in my paper trimmer at an angle. I'm going to line up the blue paper here and the pencil mark here, and I'll trim, and then I'm going to flip it and do the same thing. I'll line up the blue paper here, and we're going to trim. Okay, so now when you fold it over, we have this point or arrow. I'm gonna, and this is just something that it's not included in the directions. I'm just adding it to make this card a little extra special. Now before we do anything else too, I'm gonna go ahead and use a hole punch, and I'm gonna add an eyelet to this piece. I'm gonna bring back that pencil, and I'm gonna mark where I want that eyelet to go. Right here, it looks great. And then I'm gonna punch a hole. Okay, let's bring in an eyelet. I'm using a black eyelet. I think it's going to go good with our pattern paper. And we're just going to secure this. And then, okay, now, since we have our eyelet done, what we're going to do is make our mechanism. First, what we're going to do is take this strip. Remember, we put the white behind it. And I'm going to use my glue, and I'm going to add a thin bead of glue to the left and to the right. I'm going to place where I want this to go. I'm going to open it up. I think this is a good spot. So I'm going to open this up. I'm going to take this piece, and I'm going to go straight across with it. Here and here. Since I'm using glue, I'm going to give it a few seconds to grab. And remember, we're just using this as a guide. This is actually removable. You see, you can still remove it. Okay. Now I'm going to flip this over, make sure it's where I want it, and then I'm going to open it up, and then I'm going to add some more glue here. Right over the top. I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to glue down this top piece to this blue cardstock. Okay, so now that this is adhered, you can still pull this down, and you can kind of see the mechanism going here. And believe it or not, when we doubled up on this cardstock here that we trimmed down to an arrow, it's stopping it from going up. Okay, so this is what your card should do so far. Okay, now I'm going to use, and we're going to adhere these panels next. We're going to start by adhering our first panel to this upper section. Just going to add some adhesive, and we'll tack this down. Okay, we're going to do the same thing with this section. We're going to add some glue. We're going to tack down our next square right over the top. We're going to do the same thing here, add some glue. And then lastly, we're going to add some glue at the very top here. And we'll add our last square. So basically just the top section, the top ½ inch I would say is connected. Okay. I think we're tacked down pretty good. Now watch what happens when we pull this bottom. We're going to eventually put some twine here. But watch, when you flip this over, this top one shows. This is what a waterfall does. So neat, huh? And then we'll just let it go back. And we'll do that one more time, watch. And that's our waterfall. So that is that. Okay, I have this extra piece here of pattern paper. And I think I'm going to add it over here. I think that right in the middle, that's a good spot. We'll add some color to that blue strip. And then I'll trim away what's overhanging. So we have a little color here. Okay, now we get to decorate each one of these panels, which is the fun part. Let's bring in our sticker sheet. I went through my Bros Amazing Ephemera cardstock, and I have these 3 pieces. This says Amazing, and we have this sign here, and then 100% Pure Awesomeness. We'll use this, and then we're going to add some stickers also. Okay, let's start. Actually, let's start by adding our first panel. This is the panel that everybody's going to see when they first open up the card. And I'm thinking, I kind of really like this car here. So I'm thinking we're going to pop this car up and add this to the front of our card. So let's go ahead and flip this over. I'm going to add some foam squares behind here. I'm just going to add 2 in the middle. And then I am going to use some powder, and I'm going to remove the tackiness of the sticker. This, if we don't do this, this is going to actually prevent our card from doing the waterfall. So you just want to powder this up to remove the tackiness. Okay, so now the sticker is no longer tacky. Okay, I'm going to remove the release paper here. And we're going to add this. Now I do want to mention, since this is pretty bulky, it's not going to slide all the way down. It's kind of going to create a blocker. Let me show you. When you flip it over, you don't want it to overhanging here or not too much on the sides. You want it to be able to, because once it hits this piece, it's going to block it. Let me show you. Mine folds over fine, right? So but when you fold it over a few times, you see how this sticker, this piece here stops it. And I don't mind that because I can still see this last piece. Okay, so you just want to keep that in mind if you add stickers. Okay, so we have this one, and then I do want to put something like a greeting. Maybe what's up. I'm going to take the what's up sticker and I'm going to fishtail the end. Okay, and then I'm going to tack this down. Okay, and then we're going to open up our next layer. And the fun thing is you can decorate in here and in here. I'm going to use this ephemera piece. We're going to add some glue behind here. We're going to tack this up here. And I thought we would add this ephemera piece right here, over here. And I'm going to, since I'm using glue, I have a little bit of wiggle time. And I can see actually what it looks like when we close it. So let's close it up. And just the bottom part of the letter show, and I don't mind that. So that's the perfect placement for me. Now I'm going to go down to one more section. And let's use some more stickers for this. Maybe we'll go ahead and add our little gaming. Let's add our little controller here. I'm going to tack this down. Since it's overhanging, I'm going to trim off this part of the sticker. And I'm going to continue this at the very top of this. For this last section, I thought maybe we would add some headphones. Wonderful. Okay, now on here, what I'm going to do is I think game over would be fun. So I'm just going to tack this down at the very bottom. I'm going to take my 100% pure awesomeness and I'm going to tack it down, not to the last square, but the second to the last, overlapping that controller. You can see here. I think that's wonderful. These ends are going to overhang, but that's okay. Let me show you what this does. Super fun. I think anybody would love to have this card. For this, I mentioned we're going to add some twine. I have some white twine, and I'm going to fold the twine in half, and I'm going to thread it through my eyelet. And then we can pull it through. And I'm just going to create a bow with this. So now you have something to grab when you create the waterfall. You would just pull it. Wonderful. And then I do want to add a little bit of extra something. So I'm going to bring in some silver gems. We're going to add some silver accents to our card. And we're going to adhere these to the tires of our race car. Kind of to give it a little extra dimension and a little shine. And that finishes my waterfall card today for Photoplay paper. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.